Welcome everybody to our ClinicMind webinar. Today we're going to be talking about some things related to Patient Hub, which is our patient really communication and patient engagement piece of ClinicMind, integrated with ClinicMind, but part of the ClinicMind platform. So the hidden cost of manual patient communication, why time, stress, and inconsistency are quietly hurting your clinic's growth. Most clinics aren't short on patients, they're short on time. So the phones never stop ring off the hook, and with different interfaces with in-person care, your inbox is stacking, unanswered messages are piling up by the hour, and that could be multiple inboxes, right? You have your email, maybe you have a SMS text messaging system, maybe you have your meta channels, your Facebook and your Instagram and maybe your Google channels. And those are all different inboxes where you got to manage. And so days disappear. So you're busy all the day, but feeling like nothing got done, or maybe even worse, wondering if you missed anything. So that sounds familiar to most of us, most of us that have been in practice, worked on a team or so on and so forth. So where your time is actually going. Daily manual tasks that steal hours. So those hours are just lost because we're chasing patients, right? We're playing phone tag just to confirm simple appointments, let alone, trying to connect with patients that actually are new and trying to schedule, or we might have missed them altogether. Manual follow-ups, digging through spreadsheets to see who needs to call or remind today, booking back and forth. I just mentioned it a second ago, I think. Does Tuesdays work for you? How about 4 o'clock and back and forth? But just getting on that call to actually schedule can be phone tag. And a lot of times these days, patients are expecting a much quicker turnaround. So if you don't get them the first time, they're likely on to the next, office on their list when they either Googled it or, asked Chat GPT or Claude or whoever. Speed matters. Repeating messages. So a lot of times we have different systems. That was one piece of where the time goes, right? You're trying to manage several different channels where patient communication is coming in: Facebook, Instagram, Google, your SMS, your email inbox. We're all over the place. And so we wind up typing really the same message and responses over and over again. And one other factor there is there's usually one person that's really, really good at that, and they write the right things every single time. And if they're not there, that knowledge base gets lost, right? So it's not repeatable. And we'll talk about how to solve that a little bit later down the line here. Everything is disconnected systems. Everything is happening in different places. Phone calls, voicemails, landlines, callbacks. Those are all stored in call logs or, God forbid, mental notes, sticky notes, reminders to do, messages stored in a monitor, like on the edge of the monitor, right? Stuck to the monitor as a sticky note, or somebody's desk surface, or they went home with their pocketbook or whatever and it's stuck to it. And that reminder's gone forever, right? Text messages, patient updates, confirmations stored in your cell phone or a third-party app like a Ring Central or something like that. And conversations, in-person chats, passing comments stored in memory, often forgotten. No matter how good of a memory you have or how well-intentioned you are in a busy practice, there are so many of those conversations that are just happening in real time in the heat of the battle, if you would, that it's almost impossible to remember everything. So fragmentation like this creates gaps where patients slip through. Most clinics don't have a system, they have people doing the work. The core problem: when people are the system, your clinic's reliability depends entirely on their memory, energy, and presence. And the real problem, the root cause analysis, the real problem: your entire clinic operations depend on three fragile human factors. Time. There are only so many hours in a day. When the time is gone, critical tasks simply get dropped. Memory, sticky notes get lost, mental lists fade. In a busy clinic, crucial details inevitably slip through the cracks. And availability: staff need breaks. They get sick, they go home. Your systems stop working the moment people stop working. And that, again, most of our staffs are awesome. They have great intentions, but it's humanly impossible to perfect every single step in a perfect patient experience and remember every single, and more importantly, not remember the steps, but when one falls, one slips through the cracks, remembering to get caught back up on that process and fill in that gap is humanly impossible, especially even if one person knows, sharing that knowledge across the whole team in real time. So practice flow analysis, the slow leak. how patients are lost quietly in the gaps, missed follow-ups, right? The problem phone rings while the front desk is busy or not even in the office at that time. That goes to voicemail. Nobody answers it. Voicemail these days is a black hole. It's like you're dead. You're right. They're kind of, if you get a voicemail these days, they're just on to the next practice. They're on to see if they have a way to schedule online or an AI that's answering the phone. They're just moved on, definitely. So you have to hope that their next one on the list is also not going to answer the phone. Delayed replies, kind of related to the first one, but texting back hours later when you have a free moment could be the same thing. Even if you have an inbox for messaging, whether that's through SMS to your office or it's through something like Instagram or Meta or Google or whatever, where you have a way. I've done it. I've looked at a restaurant or a store and messaged, right? You can Google message them and either they never respond or the response is so delayed, I forgot I even messaged them. And no reactivation. Patients drop off the schedule and there's no system really notices it. It's memory management. It's you wake up in the morning, you're driving to the office, to the mall, to doing whatever. You're doing something kind of on autopilot and you remember a patient you haven't seen in a while. And it's like, whatever happened to them? And that's it. They kind of fell off track and there was nothing to bring that to the surface in an automated way. Even if you have reports in your system and all that, which every system has reports on that, but that's not the missing link. It's something proactively being done about it that matters. So these aren't big explosions. They are quiet leaks that drain revenue over time. And really, not only they drain revenue, they drain productivity and it's exhausting for people. It decreases morale and increases staff turnover. It's extremely expensive to a practice time. So small gaps compound daily. One missed call a day adds up to hundreds of missed opportunities over a year, lost yearly. Conservative estimate of patients who will slip away due to communication gaps is 5 to 10% per year. Lost weekly hours. Front desk time spent on repetitive tasks that could be automated, easily 10 plus hours without a doubt. I would say it's even higher than that because we don't realize how much is not getting done. Again, not because of intention. There is just so much that goes into managing a perfect experience for our patients. So the growth pressure, more patients should mean more success. Often it just means more noise. And often in a practice where there is so much burnout and so much overwhelm and so much manual mental energy that is being used up, more new patients, a lot of times for owners out there, that is like an eye roll for your team sometimes. Like, oh, they don't want that. It's just more work. It's just more busy work and a feeling of overwhelm, right? It just compounds as opposed to compounding growth, it's compounding stress. So more patients, marketing is working, the schedule is filling up. This is what we wanted. The volume increases, but it also compounds the admin work, more calls to return because now it's even harder to keep track of people. Now it's even harder to follow up. So patients stop getting their experience drops another tick. So you're getting more new patients, but really attrition or your attrition rate grows. So more calls to return, more forms to process, more scheduling, and workload compounds. More stress, staff is overwhelmed, patient experience suffers. You become the bottleneck. And then there's burnout. And it's an extremely expensive proposition when you've had a great team member for a long time that burns out and they have to go somewhere else. They bring everything and all their experience with them. And it's very difficult without systems, without really a lot of automated systems, shore up the patient experience and keep it on track when you lose a great team member. So growth without a system doesn't scale revenue. It scales chaos. So the shift. Most clinics are manual and reactive, rely on staff memory and constant effort to keep things moving. So they're chasing patients manually, disconnected tools. They're kind of getting lucky if, your success, as successful as many of you are, is sort of kind of lucky because a lot of those things are just memory managed and, have become part of your process and your culture, which is great. Culture is important. The retaining of patients in your practice is just part of who your team is. As soon as you lose somebody, it drops significantly. So the staff is doing all the heavy lifting. This is what most clinics do. It's what most clinics do. Smarter clinics that are moving towards the future. And I'm sure all of you know the future is the present and the future are changing rapidly now. technology is evolving faster than ever before, and it's accelerating every day. So even today, what we think of as evolving and accelerating is getting even faster by tomorrow, by next week, by next month, certainly by next year. Smarter clinics are leveraging automated and proactive. They rely on a system to ensure a patient is engaged automatically wherever possible, not to replace them, but to enable you. So an automated system does not replace people. I promise you, there's millions of things that you don't realize you're not getting to because you're doing this busy work that could be creating an even better patient experience. Again, smarter clinics are automated and proactive rather than manual and reactive. Rely on systems to ensure every patient engaged automatically, reducing manual work, putting simple systems in place, team supported by technology, low stress, high consistency. So the patient hub solution, and we're only covering a little bit of it here today, but a system that supports your team, not replaces your team, bringing your entire clinic's communication into one place. So everything in one place. No more tab switching, calls, text, notes. All of that lives together. So imagine your Facebook and your Instagram and your Google messaging and your SMS and your email for one patient were in one view, in one communication thread. So they could have messaged you from all of those places today. And you can see each one of those places they messaged you, including what your responses have been or any of your other team members' responses have been. So just opening that communication thread gives you full context from every person ever involved in a conversation with that person forever, right? It's huge. There's no more having to go in a million places. And by next year, there'll be a couple of more places too that you'll have to kind of manage your inbox. So fewer steps to done. Automate the busy work so staff can focus on the patient. And then connected communication. Nothing gets lost. Every interaction is tracked and visible. So stop chasing information. Start managing care, making it easier for you with systems like automated reminders or automatic reminders. Set it once and let the system do the heavy lifting for you and your team. Reminders send themselves. There's zero effort, zero manual effort. Patients receive timely notifications without you lifting your finger. So your team doesn't have to do anything. They're just getting those reminders. Of course, they can use the ClinicMind app or Patient Hub to reschedule an appointment if they need to. That leads to significantly fewer no-shows. And patients simply who are on track get better results, right? So sometimes they just need a reminder. I know I have, no matter what I'm doing. Sometimes there have been times where something I wanted to do, I got a reminder and almost forgot to do it. And had it not been for that reminder, I would have forgotten and not gotten it. Patients need to stay consistent for their health. So when they get that reminder and they show up, your no-shows significantly drop. Now they're getting better results. They get better results. They're more likely to leave a review, tell their friends, refer their friends, right? So, and when that continues and that perpetuates and compounds over time, patients are getting better results, referring friends. Now people are coming to your practice and willing to pay a premium because of your care. Hours of time are back daily. There's no more phone call appointment reminders. Patients can just get their reminder, confirm they're coming, reschedule if they need to, and if you want that set up that way, and reclaim hours a week for patient care and growing your practice. So reminders are probably the most simple one of all. Missed follow-ups and reactivation. Assistant outreach without the manual effect. I hear practices all the time. They think they have a reactivation system. And when you ask how many patients are in each bucket of time, how many have been inactive for 30, 60, 90, 120 days, whatever it is, they never can tell you. So that means once you know that, you can't answer that, you know you don't have a consistent reactivation campaign because it's not trackable, it's not accountable. You don't know what's being done, or what's more importantly, what's not being done. You know what should be happening, but you're not certain and you can't confirm it. And again, similar to no-shows, patients don't leave your office because they don't like you or they don't love chiropractic or any of those things. Life just happens to people. How many people that love to go to church, stop going to church, go to the gym, stop going to the gym. They know they want it. They know they need it. And sometimes they just need a friend, a loved one to just nudge them. And then they get back on track. And then they wish they never stopped kind of thing, right? It's the same thing with reactivation campaigns. You can do it manually. And actually, I'll give you one better. There's a place to do it manually, but on the foundation of doing it automatically nudge and no-show recovery, reactivate patients through consistent, meaningful campaigns, whether that's SMS or emails and outreach campaigns. You can even use AI voice to outreach to patients. This way it's happening automatically. In Patient Hub, you can see all the patients that are in those buckets. You can click a bucket and see who's in, who hasn't been in, and let's say 60 days, 60 to 90 days. And you may see a name that just pops up that you can't even believe they aren't active in your practice. It's been that long. You forgot about them somehow. So you feel guilty about that. You can always call them manually. You can always send a personal note. You can always do that stuff, but that's not the default. The default is automated, and the manual is the icing on the cake. And I encourage you to do that. But first, build a foundation where all of that happens in an automated way. So consistent patient outreach, ensure no patient slips through the crack with a system that never forgets to follow up. Smart tools, simplicity first, focus on simplicity and eliminating repetitive manual work. 24/7, book online. Patients schedule themselves instantly without calling the front desk. Huge. Most new customers coming to ClinicMind are asking, do you have online booking? And of course we do. And the online intake forms and the patient app and got all that. What's even better is, I don't know if it's better, but it's a different mode. Some patients click to schedule. Some patients call the office, right? So using an AI voice scheduling bot, you'd be amazed at how realistic it is. And they're only getting better. And they could be customized for your office, your hours. Do you take insurance? Do you not take insurance? What plans you have? All that stuff can be customized in the online booking, whether that's via chat or calling the front desk. So that patient never goes to voicemail, right? There's a whole bunch of different, or if you're actually open and nobody can answer the phone, right? You don't want that. That's like kind of the worst one. One-click smart snippets. I talked about this a little bit earlier. What we're talking about here is, you've got that one person that sends the responses, and it's in 5 different places: email, Insta, Facebook, Google. One person says the same things or about the same things and just knows how to reply to people. In Patient Hub, you can save those as snippets that anybody on the team can use in any context. So whether you can respond to their email or their Instagram or their Facebook or their Google or their SMS with snippets. Really powerful tool. It ensures consistency in communication across all team members, saying the right things. Do you take insurance? Snippet. How much is the first visit? Snippet. A zero phone tag. Eliminate the endless back and forth negotiation for appointment slots. That's self-explanatory. If you have a bot scheduling, you don't have to go back and forth. It can actually follow the call cadence. Usually it's the mornings or afternoons work better for you, and it's mornings. I've got a Wednesday and a Thursday at this time and that time, and you're giving them the option so they get to pick. That can happen in an automated way now. We don't need wasting our team members' time to do it. A unified hub, a single source of truth for every patient interaction, all in one thread, like we just said. See all calls, text, and emails in a single chronological view, including not just the patient, anybody on your team that's responded in that thread. Searchable history. Instantly recall past details without having to dig through folders. You can pull up those conversations, search the conversations, search the people, all kinds of great stuff. Calls plus text plus notes. Internal team notes live right next to patient messages. Real human outcomes. Beyond the metrics, a better day for your team. Less pressure on staff. Front desk isn't drowning in busy work. The phones stop ringing off the hook. In some ways, the phones could stop ringing altogether, or just some calls get through to your office, your staff, that an AI might know need to get through to your office. So more consistency. Every patient gets the same high standard of follow-up every single time. Faster responses. No more voicemail tag. Patient gets answers instantly, filling your schedule faster. Speed to care is huge. And that matters not only in them actually scheduling, but actually converting them to care. Their experience, I've seen it many times, that they called, they got an answer, they got scheduled, boom, boom, boom. They're in the office that day in some cases. And now they're sitting with doctor that day, that experience blows people away. And not on that alone, it tells that patient how competent your entire practice is and how they can expect you'll handle their care. And nobody expects 100% guarantee of results, but they feel a heck of a lot more confident when you handled that process that well. So better patient experience, patients feel heard, remembered, and valued, not just like another number. So you're not changing your clinic, you're removing the gaps. Stop forcing your staff to be the system. Let the system support your staff so they can focus on what matters most, the patient care. Patient Hub and ClinicMind. So if you're already a ClinicMind customer, there's a free upgrade for those who sign up with Patient Hub. Patient Hub, there's a lot more to it. So I suggest you book a consultation in any case. There's a lot more to what Patient Hub can do, including managing your posting of your social posting across all platforms easily on a calendar. You can even manage your website and your paid ads and all kinds of fun stuff on Patient Hub. So free upgrade for those who sign up on Patient Hub. Identify manual work, pinpoint repetitive tasks slowing you down, show where patients are slipping, find specific gaps in your follow-up, highlight quick wins, actionable steps to fix leaks immediately. And that's a webinar exclusive. Book your consultation with Patient Hub today.
Interested in becoming one of our thousands of satisfied customers? Contact us